Hey everybody. This is episode 2 of Donnie's blog, and so welcome again. Again, we're going to continue our talks about adult learning, and kind of as I go through the class, as I go through Dr. Malika's class, I will continue to kind of discuss things that we discussed in class, and also give you my insight on just my opinion on things as far as just what we're learning and how we're learning and how I feel within the class. The class is still starting as early, but I mean, I like it. I mean, I think I'm learning a lot. Again, and then adult learning is something that I think, like I said, we as adults you take for granted. Oh, they should know this, they should know that. But I feel that I'm learning a lot. That I think that we start off at the ground root of things, and so that's the cool part. Today we talked about cognitive emotion and cognitive uh, emotion and motivation and learning. I think that the first thing we talk about learning and anything is to learn about the brain and the mind and understanding kind of what goes on up here. I think that even with a child, right, it's like with children, we try to understand constantly what's going on. And so definitely when an adult, it's a little bit more complex. We're adults, right? You're like, oh, they should know this, they should know that. But it's pretty cool understanding that, hey, this is what we're doing, and let's think about it. Let's understand the emotional part, the motivation, right? Usually motivation is like what, passing a grade, or you going to the next level. Oh, I want to pass this grade, I'm going to whatever. But for the adults, a lot of the learning comes from that internal but external motivation, in the sense of, hey, I need this to get a raise, or I need this to get a promotion. I need, just like myself, I put myself in this program because I want to advance myself. Nobody's making me do it, right? Like, kids are legally have to go to school, so they're putting a system where, like, you're going to do this. But with the adults, is like, we if we want to advance ourselves, so we continue to learn, whether it's learning at our job, learning at a skill, even just a hobby. You're learning how to sew, you're learning a new language, you're learning how to play an instrument. All those things are different type of motivation for the adult. And so it's very, very interesting to see and hear people talk about their motivation, and hear people talk about why they do things, and understand the mind of an adult. Because we are adults, but my thing is different, because I know my mind, I know what's going on up here. But at the same time, what is truly going on with an adult when you're trying to teach them something, when they're trying to learn, what is ultimately cognitive, what is going on in their brain for them to process everything, because we know that everybody processes things differently. And so today's class is very interesting, just to kind of understand what are we, what the actual process of learning. I think that because everything starts in the brain, and so it's very, very important to understand that what, as an adult, if I'm trying to teach somebody something, if I'm trying to train them on something, I have to understand mentally the process that's going to get them to understand what I need them to understand. And so I think it's very, very important um to do that. And like I said, the motivation to learn, like, what's the purpose of learning, what's going to be your motive for learning. And I think that the two chapters that we had to read, it just got a better understanding of that. And I think that that's a good way to segue to set up class. And I think that that's pretty cool. So um that's kind of just my recap on kind of class. Of course, I could go on and on and on, but I try to stay within the 3 minute 4 minute range, just because you know I don't want to get too bogged down and explain something, because again, I want everything to tie in, and I want people to get lost in the message. But definitely understanding what adults learning, understanding why they're learning it, kind of creating that emotion and that cognitive feeling with learning. I think that's very, very important. And so those are the highlights that stuck out today. Well, not today, but in class this week. Thank you, and I'll see you next week for episode 3.